What I'm going to do here is this is my second time looking at the Dolphins schedule. I glanced at it this morning. I didn't look at it last night. Kyle was giving me a couple of updates. So I've only glanced at it as long as it takes me to read it. So my reaction here is just my initial reaction. Now, I'm not I'm not somebody who makes a huge deal out of, oh my God, that was a great team or a terrible team last year, so it's going to mean the same thing this year, because we know teams change from year to year. But obviously, there's your standard Buffalo, Kansas City, Jets, Patriots. We know those are going to be tough games. So there's some of that comes into play here. Now, they have our only preseason game listed as Dolphins at Texans on the 19th, but there's two other games that we play. I think it's Atlanta, and I think, I'm not sure who the other team is preseason wise, but they don't know the dates. So the only thing they have here for the Dolphins preseason is the Texans. 3 games. Okay, so we open up the season. Let's just boom, boom, right off the bat. They open up the season on the road at San Diego at 4:25, and then at the Patriots at 8:20. Now, there's a narrative that I'm going to spin here, but we'll just talk about these games. Not necessarily afraid of any team, right? Now, I like this. I'm going to tell you why I like this. Now, there's pros and cons here. Yes, the Dolphins like to start off at home with that 1 o'clock sun and all of that. Okay, I grasp that. Now, let's not pretend, however, we do win those games because those other teams do melt in the sun. However, just because the other teams melt more and we can handle it doesn't mean that doesn't have an effect on our guys later down the road. So there's two different narratives here. They're going to be completely conflicting, and I can understand and see both. Okay? I know you guys like to start out 1 o'clock September, as many 1 o'clock September games and October games, really, as we can get. That's fine. We win a lot of those games. That's also a good, solid point. But don't pretend like that doesn't take stuff out of our guys, okay? How many times last year did we see Tyreek and Jalen especially coming off the field with cramps, Yeah, we can gut it out. Absolutely. But I would rather just meet at a place like, at the Chargers. I always say San Diego. I'd rather go on the road to some more temperate climates and win because of our talent, not because we got roasted in the sun less. Okay? Long term, all right? We have a track team. We have a team of not so big, or at least on offense, not so big, fast guys, all right? I actually feel like this schedule, not depleting them so early on in the season and making it so difficult on their recovery, I think that will be an advantage for us, okay? Now, in terms of predictions, I mean, this is going to be a very, very light prediction. This is so far in advance, but we'll add it up for fun. I'll get my little pen and paper here, and we'll add it up for fun just to give a general sense. What I'm seeing here, I'm going to go by what we expect, okay? And what I expect from both of those games is a 2-0 start. That doesn't mean we're not capable of losing a game, all right? It doesn't mean the Chargers suck or the Patriots suck. But we are going to be fresh, rested. We should be healthy, okay? Now, the other thing I like about starting out on the road is that we're fresh, rested, and healthy, and that's when we're going on the road, especially the game to the Chargers, right? It's a bit of a longer trip. So that saves us those trips on the back end of the season. I mean, let's be honest. Playing in New England at night on September 17th, that's a huge advantage for us, I feel, in the sense that, compared to when we could play them much, much later on in the year where weather would really be a factor. So I figure we can win both those games. Our home opener is September 24th on the 1st against the Broncos. And the Broncos are probably going to be sucking air like the Bills were last year, because I'm pretty sure the Broncos away uniform, obviously we're going to wear our whites, they're going to wear their darks. Denver, not much of an issue anyway, so we're going to go to 3-0. Now, we're going to get to the 4th game of the year. We go on the road, so now 3 of the first 4 games are on the road. There's pros and cons there. There's pros and cons. 1 o'clock, October 1st against the Bills. Now, remember back when the NFL used to say, oh, the schedule is just chosen at random and we have no control over it. Come on. Come on now. This schedule, and like I said, there's 2 narratives. I understand and see both. But this schedule where we have 3 of the first 4 road games, okay, 3 of the first 4 games on the road, is clearly a result of teams bitching about the Dolphins having heat advantage in September, which we've always had. All right? But come on, okay? Both division games on the road in September. Come on. Come on now. It is what it is, and I'm not bitching. I'm not even saying it's unfair, but it's clearly the league manipulated things to get that. All right? Now, I'm going to put Buffalo at Buffalo. I'm going to put that down as our first loss because you're not going to win every game. I'm not going to sit here and predict. You know, if I went by, we should win that game, we'd be 17-0. Okay? There's no teams on this schedule, right? The Dolphins are good enough where they should win every game. Doesn't mean they're going to win every game, but they've got enough talent to where at the beginning of the game, you say, this is a game the Dolphins can and, you know, either can, should win. So I'm going to give Buffalo that game. Now, now they gave the Heat games to 2 teams that are out of the conference. The Giants and the Panthers. October 8th and October 15th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's still going to be 150 degrees on that field, okay? That's 5-1. Come on now, all right? That's 5-1, okay? I'm not calling them gimmies, okay? The Giants are a good team. The Panthers, okay. But both of those teams, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, October, it's not going to be so hot that our guys are going to get as depleted as they would have in September, but it's going to be plenty hot enough in the sunny side of that stadium that both of those games should pretty much go about the same way. So I've got us at 5-1. If you wanted to put us at 4-2 and you wanted to call a game that could be a game that we might get beat, I mean, the Patriots at home, right? Maybe you split with the Patriots and the Chargers. Maybe you're only 4-2. But I'll put 4-2 down next to that 5-1. That's the worst we should be. All right? That is absolutely the worst we should be after 6 games is 4-2. But I'm going to get us 5-1. If you hear something, that's Fluffy walking around. All right, now, October 22nd. Again, another primetime game, right? This is our this is our second primetime game of the year. And, of course, it's on the road again. Now, this is a Sunday night at Philadelphia. I'm going to go ahead and call that 5-2. That doesn't mean that I don't think Miami is capable of winning that game. But now you're 6-7 games into the season. You're starting to look at health. Okay? You see what I'm saying? And the Dolphins will have just played 2 games at home. Like I said, that heat can deplete you. It's not as bad in October, but I think you're going to give the Philadelphia Eagles that victory there. That's a good team that's not going anywhere. And now we've had both primetime games so far on the road. Moving on, here we go. We already got our second game against the Patriots again. October 29th, again on a Sunday, a couple of days before Halloween. I think Halloween's on a Monday this year. I think. Not sure actually. Well, no. If that's a Sunday, that means Halloween's on a Tuesday. So that kind of sucks. This is a game you have to win. I'm going to get us to 6-2. All right. That's just if you have your home games against your division opponents, 1 o'clock. Maybe it's not going to be 150 on the sideline. Maybe it'll only be 125. Okay, but that's a game you have to have. You have to have that because you got it sandwiched in between the Eagles and then another, in quotes, primetime game. Now, this one is the Dolphins versus the Chiefs in Germany. I talked a little bit about this on the podcast yesterday. I'm not a fan of the overseas stuff. Again, I get it. I understand it. I'm not like somebody that's going to go out there and say, this sucks, it's got to stop. It's just, I'm not a fan. Number one, that's 9 mother effing 30 in the morning. Okay? Right? And what time in the morning is that in Kansas City? Is that 7:30? 6:30? You see what I'm saying? This is absurd. Now, the good news is that this was a Chiefs road game, a Chiefs home game, and not a Dolphins home game. But now, again, this is 3, in quotes, primetime games, all right? And we still haven't had one at home. Now, this game here, I'm going to go ahead and give the Chiefs this one again. I'm trying to be conservative here. I don't want to be too homerisk and then look at my ending result and see 15-2 because I don't think we're going to go 15-2. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Chiefs this victory, but it wouldn't shock me if we could at least win one against the Eagles and Chiefs. But for purposes of almost the worst case scenario that I'm thinking for the Dolphins, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Chiefs to win that game. Again, we kind of catch a break that was already going to be a road game for us. And certainly, in terms of the crowd, it's going to be interesting because there's probably going to be a lot more Dolphins fans over there than Chiefs fans. So, not a fan of those games because now, I mean, we got to get up. I mean, the stream would have to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Screws up. Who wants to watch football at 9:30 in the morning? I forget that those games exist. I genuinely do. Like, I sit down at 12:30 to start getting ready for things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. They had the England game or the Germany game, and it's already freaking done. I'm not a fan. We'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that. All right, so we're 6-3 after 9 games. Now, we got the Raiders at home, November 19th, 1 o'clock. This should be 7-3. That should be 7-3. All right. Again, it's not like the Raiders suck. Okay, the Raiders are terminally meh. All right. But again, we'll be in whites. They'll be in blacks. I know it's November, but as we've seen even in December, even if the high is 80, it's still like, what, 110 on the field on that side of the stadium. So I think that's a game. And remember, we're coming off of our bye there as well. We have our bye after the Germany trip. That's good. I'll take the bye then. So we should be rested, recuperated. Maybe we're coming off of a big win. But either way, Raiders get us to 7-3. Then we got to go on the road to the Jets. And now this is 4 prime time games. This is Black Friday, and we are still not at home. This is obscene. And not only that, but a lot of, now that I'm looking at this, what a crappy run. They give us the Germany thing, all right? Is that already on a short week? Let me see. 30th, 31st, 32nd, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. No, it's not on a short week, the Germany. But we got the Germany game. We get the bye. Then we got the Raiders. And then we're on a short week to play the Jets. And we got to travel. And it's Black Friday. So who knows what they're going to do there, if they're going to travel and sell. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And in fact, I don't like it so much, I'm going to pick the Jets to win that game. On a short week, during a holiday week, and again, another primetime game all on the road. I'm not a fan of this schedule at all. Not a fan of this schedule at all. Then we catch, I guess, what you might consider a little bit of a break here. Well, no, actually, that's a road game, for frick's sake. So, we've played on Black Friday. Then the following, I suppose, is that Sunday? No, yeah, that's a Sunday game. That's at the Commanders on December 3rd. That should bring us to 8-4. Not a lot to say about that game. It's possible Kyle and I might be able to make it to that game, but that all depends on finances, etc. Now, that's a 1 o'clock game, so we'd have enough time to get home. So we'll have to see about that. Then we got the Titans at home. That looks like that's a Monday night game. Will get us to 9-4. Now we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. That's a game that we should win, regardless of whatever Tennessee is going to do with if Henry's going anywhere, or what, if Tannehill's still going to be the starting quarterback. You never know what's going to happen. But we finally, it's December 11th, and that's now our 5th primetime game, and we got one of them at home. Give me a break. All right, here we go. So then we got December 17th, the Jets in Miami. 1 o'clock. We'll go ahead and split with the Jets and get us to 10-4. All right. I feel good about that. Then we're immediately back at home. We're actually at home. Christmas Eve, 4:25 in the afternoon. That's interesting. I guess because it's an NFC team, we got the later start. All right. That's fine. That's 3 home games in a row, though. You see this adding up? All right. 11-4. Look at, and that's a product of those 2 games that we went to on the road at the beginning of the season, right? I'd rather have the Titans at home on Monday night, but boy, you think they could have? Why not Jets and Dolphins Monday night, right? Why not Jets Dolphins Monday night? That would have been much better. All right, so we got Titans, Jets, and Cowboys 3 in a row at home. You got to win. You got to win those games. I got us at 11-4 right now. All right, and then the final 2 games of the year. So we are at the Ravens on New Year's Eve, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then January 7th, which they have to be determined. So you're going to assume, barring any kind of collapse by one of these teams, that's going to have some kind of playoff implications. That could legit be for the division, some kind of home field. That could have a lot of implications. That Ravens game, that's timed out to be another game that I might be able to get to, except for now I'd be trying to get home late in the evening on New Year's Eve from Baltimore. So that's not a good look for me at all. I don't know about that. I don't know about getting either one of those games. We'll have to see, because I can't spend the night outside of the house with the dogs. They're just not of that age to be able to do that. And then the Bills. I mean, it's just hitting me now. I mean, you look at this, and again, I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning. This is so clearly, obviously, a response to the wah that the Bills made about it being so hot. We don't get the Bills at home to the last game of the year, to the coldest possible day, and I bet you they make it a night game. If you don't think that's on purpose, there's a whole long list of things I could say that I'm not going to say. But if you don't think that's on purpose, you might want to check your pulse. And that's being polite. Okay? That is clearly abundantly on purpose. For multiple reasons, right? They probably want the Bills and Dolphins in a primetime spot there at the end of the season. I get that. I get that. But putting it in this, right? And look, I'm sure Bills fans, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen of another for them too, because they don't have to go to 1 o'clock in the afternoon in September in Miami, but there ain't going to be no snow in Miami on January 7th either. So, what do I got? I had 11 and 4. Jeez. All right. I got us at 13 and 4 if we beat the Bills. So what did I have? I got us 13 and 4. We're splitting with the Bills, splitting with the Jets. I did not have a splitting with the Patriots. I think that's a very reasonable thing to assume. I had us losing to the Eagles, losing to the Chiefs. Well, that's 5 games. So how did I screw this up? Who did we not split with? Did I have us beating? Let's see. How did I screw this up? No, I had us beating the Bills, and that's what I did. We're going to win 12-ish games. We're going to win 12-ish games. All right? Like I said, it's too early to get overly specific, but there's not a lot of games on that schedule that you look at and you say, yeah, I don't know about that one. There's a few. You could think that about any of the Buffalo games, the Jets games, the Eagles game, and the Chiefs game. All right? So that's 4. There's like 6 games there where if you lose, you're like, all right, okay, but we should beat the Chargers. We should be beating the Patriots, Broncos, Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Commanders, Titans, Cowboys. I might want to give them a little bit more credit, but that's a home game. Ravens again, okay, yeah. I mean, those are a couple of games there too. Definitely not gimmies. So, let's put it this way. Last thing I'll say. If they want to win this division, they're going to need to win 12 games.